Everyone can hear me all right, yeah? My computer is playing up a little bit. Got a little bit of lag. Just put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me, please. Thank you all for coming in. I took a few days off, guys and dolls, because you know what? I think that we have been greatly desensitized to just feeling anything, especially in the face of what we have seen the last 48 to 72 hours and just everything that we're seeing in the US with the countries that the US wants to get its business in, that it's allied with, and yeah, my heart's never felt so heavy. I think that day to day, everybody's just trying to get on with their lives. But at this point, I think we've reached a place where you just can't be oblivious, and the keep calm and carry on just doesn't apply anymore. I mean, to an extent, it hasn't applied for a while, and to some people, war is their life. But for those of us that have the privilege of being separate from it, that privilege, I think, is now gone. And so, pray every day, folks. Even if you're not religious, I'm not actually necessarily religious, but I am spiritual. Pray every day, folks. Pray over yourself, over your friends, over your family, over this world. We, as humans, we deserve peace. And I think that's actually what most people want. But there are some people in this world, different entities in this world that don't want that peace. You know, this article came up on my feed about the strikes in Iran and how it will boost defense stocks. In my opinion, there shouldn't even be defense stocks. And that's one of the things that I've thought about, not just the last few days, but I think in the last 4 or 5 decades of military intervention have been a disaster. And I think it's more than clear now how so much that we are told about these conflicts is just a lie. And based on lies and propaganda, and we're liberating these people, and what does liberation look like? Bombing the crap out of their countries and weapons manufacturers making millions. Oligarchs making millions. I follow a travel content creator called Alyssa Ramos, who's incredible. She's American. Great ally, by the way, anti-Trump, and makes wonderful content about women and people of color in all of her travels. Definitely a real one. She was actually in Kuwait. She's actually just made it out, but she was in Kuwait. And for those of you who are American who are wondering, well, what's going on with Americans that are stuck in these different parts of the Middle East and caught in the middle of this conflict? Well, you should know that your government is doing nothing. Alyssa and a whole bunch of Americans had to get a 4x4, do a land border crossing over to Saudi, and they've just taken off in their plane now. The US government is not helping anyone. If you know anyone that is stuck, do DM me on my royal account, Duchess of Success Official, and there's a handful of influencers that are trying to help people get out. And that's what's been quite interesting about this, actually. It's been the local social media and people on the ground helping each other to get out. So if you know anyone that's stuck and needs help, there is help. But the US government, you should know, is doing nothing. And it's quite interesting to see all of these events unfold through the eyes of social media, which has actually been a lot more informative on like people on the ground than the mainstream news right now. So I just wanted to acknowledge that, and if you're feeling, acknowledge any of you listening. If you're feeling heavy, you have the right to feel heavy. You have the right to feel frustrated. Yeah, just yet another war. I mean, the drums of war with Iran have been banging for some time, and that's not to say that the leader of Iran wasn't problematic, but I don't believe ever that bombing another country to dust is the way of. How is that liberating people? It doesn't make any sense. And this is a country that's, of course, as usual, very oil rich. Same narrative, same lies. I'm tired of it. I'm sure some of you listening are tired of it. But what can we do? This is where we are, at least for now. All right. I will get through your comments, and then let's move things along. We all need a bit of escapism. Elizabeth, in capital letters, Charles can go to hell. Yeah, we will talk about all of that, because I have a theory as to why it is all of these articles about Harry and Meghan coming back, and Charles is sending an olive branch, and all of a sudden now the olive branch is to both Harry and Meghan, not just Harry. Thank you so much, Church and Lee, for being an amazing member, amazing person in this community for 40 months. Church Nelly, you are just a real one. Just across the squaddy space. Yeah, across the squaddy space, you're really a real one. We appreciate you so much. Um, okay, let's go on to the other news. But definitely follow My Life is a Travel Movie. Great content creator. All right, first things first. Let's talk about something positive actually. Ugh. Let's talk about somebody who's doing something good in the world. Right, so Harry and Meghan presented the NAACP Archwell Digital Civil Rights Award to this year's honoree Dr. Mary Ann Franks, who reflects a growing truth of our time that protecting civil rights in the digital age is essential to protect everyone everywhere. And oh my God, I think I almost gasp. I mean, I look at Meghan's face almost every single day, but she just looks angelic here. There's something about when she wears white, especially gorgeous turtleneck, which I'm sure we will be seeing on Kate sometime soon. So let's have a listen to what Harry and Meghan had to say. If you haven't heard it, here you go.
5 years ago, we launched this award with the NAACP because we believed that the fight for civil rights didn't end at the doorstep of the digital world. It begins there. And since then, we've honoured 4 extraordinary women. Dr. Sophia Noble, Nabia Syed, Dr. Joy Bonwini, and Dr. Alondra Nelson.
We are incredibly proud of our partnership with NAACP and of what this award represents, that civil rights must evolve as fast as the technology that threatens them.
This year's recipient is someone whose work I find genuinely inspiring, a groundbreaking legal scholar, author, and president of the Cyber Civil Rights Initiative. Her book, Fearless Speech, asks a question that I think matters now more than ever. When powerful people and powerful platforms claim to champion free speech, whose freedom are they actually protecting? Dr. Franks makes the case, and I think she's right, that true free speech should serve democracy, not the interests of those who would dismantle it.
It is our honor to announce that the 2026 NAACP Archwell Digital Civil Rights Award goes to Dr. Mary Ann Franks, a fearless woman at the forefront of the modern civil rights movement. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Amen. Well said and absolutely needed. Needed now more than ever. And my gosh, the timing, that Harry and Meghan were just in Jordan and all of this kicked off. And when you're on social media, do be careful. We are in an age of AI. You literally cannot believe your eyes anymore, which is insane. So do double check everything. Any video you watch it with a very, very, sharp eye. Narratives that are being spread, be careful. The bot activity is insane. Oh, this is another thing that I wanted to mention. I posted about Harry and Meghan and Jordan, and my tweet was attacked with bots, like in the most insane way. It actually felt almost different from the usual bot farm. You had all of these tweets talking about how Harry and Meghan support HAMAS, that group. All of the bot tweets were to do with that. And I was like, wow. There is still like a lot of bot activity, all types of stuff. So just you got to be careful now. I don't blame people for leaving Twitter, because it's just an absolute mess. And so I think this was the absolute perfect recipient to get this award this year. And this is something great to look forward to every year from Harry and Meghan, and choosing and highlighting incredible and smart women who are contributing in the most amazing way. I mean, I really loved. I haven't read Sophia Noble's Algorithms of Oppression yet, but I follow her online, and it's just so important because the other thing about all of this AI and stuff is the way in which it creates false narratives, affects all people, but people of color especially, and women and children. So fantastic work from Harry and Meghan doing something that's very much needed and very much relevant. Right, let's go. Let's have some actual comedy now. Because some people out here really do think that they're so special, like they're the exception to the rule. Nana Akua, this lady, our favorite person from GB News, she was having a debate on GB News on, do you have to speak English to be able to vote? Right? And I want you to listen, and then we're gonna discuss, because Nana Akua learned in real time that it doesn't matter how much you tap dance, you're not part of the club. Even when you're sitting on the table, you're not part of the club. That she's just a tool.
You think I'm English?
Look, let's put that to one side for the minute, because we're going to go down a rabbit hole if we start talking about this sort of thing, and we don't have time to give it the detail that it deserves. Okay? So if we could just stay on this point.
Can I just stop you there? I know exactly how much time we've got, and there's no breaks in this hour. We've got time.
Right, okay, well, listen, if you want to go down this route, then I'm happy to do so, because it is
just a question.
But it is an important issue about what it means to be British.
What does it mean to be
British
British, then? Okay.
Well, I mean, we have made it very clear, Restore Britain have made it very clear that our position is that Britishness is not just defined by having a British passport. It is not just defined by believing in a set of abstract corporate-style values like democracy and the rule of law.
What is it defined?
Well, let me finish. So the position
defined by, not what it is.
The position of every mainstream party, from Reform UK right the way through to the Greens, is that Britishness is defined by having a passport or believing in democracy. Right? In our view, that is an absolutely ridiculous definition, because Britain and the constituent nations that make this country up, England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, are ancient peoples. These are ancient nations that have existed continuously for over 1,000 years. Yeah. And so there is a difference.
So am I British?
There is a difference between somebody.
Am I British?
No, I'm
born in Newcastle. I'm a Geordie. Am I British?
Well, look, you're born in Britain, and all the rest of it. So in that sense, yes, you are British.
So which bit of me isn't, then?
Well, there is obviously a spectrum, because there is a difference between somebody who has come here in the last 5 years and got themselves a passport, and somebody like me, whose family has been in this country literally for thousands of years. Okay, there is a difference.
So I'm just going to stop that there. First and foremost, I think the man is talking absolute rubbish. There is a difference between citizenry and heritage, right? In my opinion. I was raised in Britain. I am culturally British, and I have a British passport. I also come from Zambia, that is a former British colony. And this is another thing where people like this, racist people like this, seem to always want to remove that part of Britain's history from Britishness. Right? So if you want to remove that, well, then get rid of the Commonwealth. Like, you can't separate all of that from Britishness. And the role Britain had to play in that, and how all people from those different nations make up Britishness. And I do think that he's trying to conflate being British and heritage. When I think of a person who's English, Scottish, Welsh, I consider that somebody's heritage. So those groups of people, yes, they're British, but you're referring to their heritage. And so to dismiss someone, I personally wouldn't call myself English just because I grew up in England. To me, being English is somebody of English heritage, of Scottish heritage, of Welsh heritage. But I'm not going to accept somebody othering me and saying that I'm not British. I was raised in the United Kingdom. I have a British passport. I even come from a country that is a former British colony. We're tied at the hip. And you heard Nana Akua there say, well, I think she said I was raised in, what'd she say? I can't remember the cities that she said. And I speak the accent, so would you not consider me British? And he said, no, because we do not define being British as having a passport and British values. He defines Britishness through heritage, not through citizenry. And if you actually watch the video, Nana is actually kind of like laughing. She's trying to laugh it off, but it's not funny at all. She's learning in real time. These people don't like you. And it's also interesting that he says that all of the kind of parties on his political aisle share this view. That's actually not entirely true. Reform have many people of color in their party. Yes, they're all, tap dancing coons, but I think he's really only speaking for his party, which is which sounds like it's even more to the right than Reform.
Have you heard of Cheddarman?
Yes.
Cheddarman, turns out that he may well have been black and was here.
But I think that's...
No. So it hasn't been fully. And apparently he was the first person in this country, and he was potentially black. In fact, if it is true that mankind came from Africa, then you come from Africa.
Well, I'm a Christian, so I think we all share a common ancestor.
Well, you might believe that, but science says otherwise, that mankind came from Africa. If you're going, how far back are you going? I'm going back to the beginning.
For what?
Well, mankind.
For mankind?
Well, if they're saying the creation of mankind and mankind came from Africa, then you're from Africa. Your heritage all the way further back.
Well, if the out of Africa theory is correct, then yes, but that doesn't that doesn't make me African now.
Well, it means that there's a piece of you that is, which means you're not British.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying if just...
Do you think I'm English?
Look, let's put that to one side for the minute, because we're going to go down a rabbit hole if we start talking about this sort of thing, and we don't have time to give it the detail that it deserves. Okay? So if you could just stay on this point.
So it's interesting there. She then brings in, do you think I'm English? And in my opinion, as I've just said, I think there's a difference between citizenry and heritage. I personally would not call myself English. My heritage is I'm Zambian and I'm a British citizen. Some people like Nana Akua and others, they want to be considered English. I don't understand that. But I think it is exceptionally rude to say that she is not British. But she is learning in real time that there are people like him, Restore Britain, who think that she should not be considered British and likely should not live in Britain, should not have the rights of a British person or protections of a British citizen.
Can I just stop you there? I know exactly how much time we've got.
Yeah.
There's no breaks in this out.
There you go. Embarrassing. And she will tap dance straight back to work. Karma knows everyone's address. Yeah, that's basically what he's saying. If you're not white, you're not British. That's basically what he's saying. Yeah, exactly. This is the point I was trying to make. According to them, the Windrush generation aren't part of Britain. The Windrush generation who were asked to come to Britain to help rebuild it. They're apparently not part of Britain and they're not British. Rubbish. Yeah, exactly. While Nana was putting Meghan down, they were busy laughing at her. Engaged to a convict, by the way, or did they have the wedding yet? It'd be a hell of a wedding. Okay. We needed something to laugh about. Nana getting her karma gave us that. The day was gonna come. They all learn. Tap dance all you want. They will let you know you are not one of us. Now, let's go over to Charles. My theory, straight and simple, of why you're getting all these random articles suddenly of extending an olive branch to Harry and Meghan is that I think that Charles is very ill. So much more ill than they're telling us. And Charles has proven many times that he does not care about the safety and security of his son, his grandchildren, and his daughter-in-law. However, when it comes to his image, of course, he will put that first. And that is the only reason I think that there is any conversation, any leaking of the idea that Harry and Meghan should come back, the firm need Harry and Meghan, and all of this stuff. And so now you've got these articles, talking about should, the palace should find a way back for Harry and Meghan. And also remember that the tabloids, nobody wants Harry and Meghan to come back more than the tabloids. Charles wants it for his image. The tabloids want it for money. The tabloids, if Harry and Meghan came back for Charles's funeral, would be savage. The savagery of famine. That's what you would see with the tabloids. Because they know that Harry and Meghan coming back for Charles's funeral, if security matters are not sorted, that may be the last time you see Harry and Meghan together, and possibly the kids all in the UK at the same time. Harry may come on his own, but he hasn't been coming with Meghan. So they will descend like vultures. So one particular thing happens whenever the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are enjoying a successful moment. After from the British press, someone will say something along the lines of, "Man, I really wish Harry and Meghan were still working royals." There's rarely an acknowledgement of why they left in the first place, nor has there ever been an acknowledgement that the British establishment stripped the Sussexes of their security in early 2020, specifically to harm them to the point of divorce or capitulation. But whenever Meghan and Harry are having a good moment, you can see the wistfulness set in amongst royal commentators, and they can keep wishing. They are still somewhere in the middle of the stages of grief. Maybe is this the bargaining phase? They haven't reached the acceptance phase. What could have been had those royalists not been stenographers to an abusive aurist institution, while the Sussexes' successful Jordan trip has a Telegraph's Ronan Pelling in her feelings. She in her feelings, everyone. She wrote an eye-roll column, Harry and Meghan's Jordan trip shows what an asset they could have been. 6 years later, they're still crying about a situation they facilitated and cheered for. Exactly. I never want to hear again about this Harry and Meghan and what could have been. They have been parroting the same BS for years. Yes, what could have been would have been amazing. What could have been didn't happen in part because of you. So why are you still writing about what could have been? Levels upon levels of delusion. It is indeed an illusion that Harry and Meghan secretly want to come back, and the only thing that's stopping them is Charles and Prince William's refusal and security. Well, first and foremost, I have no doubt that Harry and Meghan want to come back. Harry loves his country. Meghan did a phenomenal job as a working royal, and I'm sure she would love to be connected to her husband's country and her children's country also. And I'm sure she'd want her children to be there and enjoy their heritage. And Harry has always said that he wants to serve the monarchy, albeit in a more adapted way for modern times. So yes, I'm sure Harry and Meghan would want to come back if there was no chaos, if there was no bullying, if there was no risk to their safety. Isn't that not the very reason they offered half in, half out in the first place? Because they wanted to be involved? But to say, so to try and spin, oh, Harry and Meghan want to secretly come back, as if to say, oh, Harry and Meghan regret leaving. No, it's not like that at all. While it's true that Charles and William would throw the biggest tantrums ever if the Sussexes came back to live in the UK, what everyone is missing is that the Sussexes have repeatedly said that they live in America now. Exactly. They're not moving. Harry wants protection to visit. To visit. Harry has said his kids are going to be raised in America. But I'm sure he would want his children to visit his country. Their country. Through his dad. So to visit, that's it. To visit his father and to do charity work. Harry wants to bring his children over so they can spend time with their grandfather. That's it. All of these convoluted, idiotic commentary pieces about bring back the Sussexes and Harry will eventually have a rival royal court in England miss the simple fact that Harry and Meghan do not want to live in that ish show anymore. Especially now. Come on. Come on. Besides which, they already have a rival royal court and it's in Montecito. Well, I wouldn't even call it that. They're just minding their business. And that's what's driving all of these people crazy. Harry and Meghan be just minding their business. Meanwhile, everything crumbles around them. Listen to this little piece from this news.
He has done as little as the late Queen to bring transparency to that institution.
I don't agree with that.
Well, what has he done?
Well, you've seen what he's done.
Well, okay, we're all talking over each other. What has Charles done differently as king than his late mother?
Oh, I think you could argue he's done
I
quite
think
a
he's
lot.
done
Like
quite a
what?
lot. Well, I think the stripping of Andrew's titles.
Well,
I think
he had no choice but to do that, John.
Exactly.
Like, he had no choice.
No,
The
but
Queen would have
he's
to
had
do
very
that as well.
limited time, and he's had cancer, and
The Charles story,
what has
I
he
think,
done?
with Andrew began a lot earlier than we realise. And if you go through the Epstein files, you understand how angry Jeffrey Epstein was when he was alive that Charles had intervened to take the trade envoy role away from his brother.
Where's the inquiry into his brother? We have had two statements, a grand total of two statements from the king about his brother, and we do not even know, because they have not deigned to tell us, and no one has asked them, why he's taken the titles away. Is it because he thinks that Andrew is guilty of something, or is it because he's doing it for PR for his family? He's never said. Don't you think?
Well, essentially, he said, my hands are no longer on this. If the police need to investigate him, go ahead.
This has been going on for 15 years, and they've never once, apart from the
They've
interview
never
you
done
did
it
with
publicly.
Andrew.
I think they've. I mean, I totally agree with you. They've never done it publicly, and you could argue that that is very much owed to us now. But I don't believe that it hasn't been going
But Lewis,
on.
this is the change.
we don't know.
But Lewis, this is the change that I think that is coming.
Well, I mean, everything's changed. Everything's changed in the last 6 months. You
Because-
can see that.
No, the briefing we
the
got
questions-
when Andrew was arrested, the briefing we got from the royal family, which I could not believe was the briefing, and it was carried across the broadcasting. Business as usual for His Majesty. Really? Business as usual? His brother's just been arrested?
Yeah, the statement that came from Charles's camp was pathetic. I will continue to serve you, and then he goes to Fashion Week.
Because you don't want him to step in on a police inquiry, presumably, right?
And I mean, okay. I mean, I thought that statement from the king was as icy cold towards his brother as it has possibly been, where he kind of says, I'm very concerned to hear about the arrest of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, as if he was absolutely nothing to do with, as if it was the arrest of Fred Splinge in Bolton.
We hear constant briefing from the palace. Sources close to the king, source close to this. They could answer any sort of basic questions, as you raise, Emily, about the money.
And, that's what they want. They want to behave as if Andrew literally isn't a family member. He referred to Andrew by his full name, not by my brother. Maybe Charles believes them conspiracy theories about the Queen having fun was when Philip was gone as well. Trying to erase the fact that this is literally his brother, please.
About the money about the 12 million, about whether any inquiry has ever been held, and why they have taken his titles away. They have not, for all of this talk and vibes about the king being a more modern figure and reforming the place, he has done as little as the late Queen to bring transparency to that institution. That is just a matter of...
I don't agree with that.
Well, what has he done?
Well, you've seen what he's done. He's done everything in the last 6 months to say, come and get Andrew if you need to.
And to protect about the robbery. He hasn't done. He hasn't...
Well, that's your interpretation of why he's done it. Okay.
Yeah, come and get him. And then he spent about 5 minutes in police custody. And today, as we're speaking, Andrew definitely isn't sweating because they've all stopped talking about him, the Epstein files.
But Lewis,
I mean, that's no more than... Yeah, okay.
Well, okay, we're all talking over each other.
He has done as little as the late Queen to bring...
Yeah, there you go. And this is another reason why, you know, they want Harry and Meghan back, because their well is running dry. The well is running very, very dry. Okay, next thing. Michael B. Jordan won an award at the NAACP Awards. I didn't know that him and Meghan have actually met before. This was at a pre-Super Bowl tournament. This is Meghan pre-Royal Life. She also met Serena Williams at this event as well. So I don't want to hear that our good sis didn't have any celebrity connections and friends and wasn't invited to these things. She absolutely was. And she absolutely was a star, very well connected. All right. To talk about today. And let's have a breeze through your comments and then we can wrap things up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like button on your way out, folks. Let's have a look. Lerva, you said Charles runs away from confrontation. He simply feels that if he ignores a problem, it will go away. That's what the Queen did as well. That's what his mothers did. So now you know where he got it from. Yes, the audacity of the UK media. They're all complicit in all of this. In Andrew, in other ways. Lottie, you said Meghan's kids are in school in Montecito and they are very smart, just like their mother. Yes. Smart. Enjoying life. As close to as normal as you possibly can. When your dad's a prince who ran away from the castle. But as you said, I disagree with you. Harry and Meghan won half in and half out when his grandmother was monarch. This current future family, no. Well, if they would ever get their ish together, it could be a maybe. But we know that's never going to happen. All right, folks. Gonna wrap things up. Appreciate you so much. Oh, just in time, Lottie. Thank you so much for your super sticker. You can also donate through Buy Me a Coffee, folks, or PayPal. Very much appreciate it. Very much appreciate you. Please take some time to switch off the news, switch off social media if the noise is too much for you. You don't have to be connected all of the time, and quite frankly, it can be very draining and depressing. You're allowed to be just a little bit oblivious sometimes. Let your nervous system rest. Sometimes that is okay. Doesn't mean that you're running away from reality entirely. You're just giving your mind, body, soul to rest, because it's very, very, very jarring. All right. Love you all, folks. Wishing you peace, love, and light. Ciao.